Hi, in this lesson we're going to be looking at multiplication and division of integers. And I will be explaining the various rules with regards to dividing and multiplying integers. And I guess the easiest way to remember the rules for multiplying and dividing integers is that if we have two of the same sign, our sign stays a positive. And if we have two different signs, we end up with a negative. The rules of multiplication and division of integers can actually be considered by looking at the repeated addition of negative numbers. For example, if we had four groups of -2, we could rewrite it as this. Here's our first -2, second, third, and fourth -2. This in turn could be written as -2 multiplied by 4 is equal to -8. Or 4 times -2 is equal to -8. And therefore we can see that a negative multiplied by a positive gives us a negative. Therefore negative multiplied by a positive is equal to a negative, and a positive multiplied by a negative is going to give us a negative as well. So a positive multiplied by a negative is equal to a negative value too. We can also say that -8 divided by 4 is going to give us -2. So -8 divided by 4 is equal to -2. And that's a rule for division. A negative divided by a positive is equal to negative. So we can see a little bit of a pattern developing here. We have opposite signs, we have a negative. Opposite signs, a negative. Opposite signs, a negative. So the rule is, for multiplication and division, if you have opposite signs, your result will be a negative number. Alright, but if we had four groups of 3, we could write that as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And we know that 3 lots of 4 is 3 times 4, and that would give us a positive number 12. And this can be rewritten as 3 multiplied by 4 equals 12, or 4 multiplied by 3 is equal to 12. So we have a positive value for 3 and 4 in both of those places. So therefore a positive multiplied by a positive is going to give us a positive value for both of these. A positive value. So from this we can say that -4 multiplied by -3 is also going to give us a positive value of 12. Or -3 multiplied by -4 would give us a positive value of 12. So a negative multiplied by a negative is equal to a positive value. A negative multiplied by a negative is equal to a positive value. So once again we can see a pattern developing with positives. 2 positives equals a positive. 2 negatives equals a positive as well. Alright, well let's put all that to the test. So here are 4 questions for you to have a go at. See if you can solve each of them. Put the video on pause and come back when you're ready. Alright, well the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say that is a positive value multiplied by a negative value. Therefore my answer has to be a negative, and 5 times 6 is 30, so my answer is -30. B, I have a negative value multiplied by another negative value, therefore my answer has to actually be a positive answer, and 3 multiplied by 7 is positive 21. Now normally we do not have to show that that is a positive value, but for the purpose of this exercise I will leave it as it is. So moving on to question C, I know a negative divided by a negative is going to give me a positive, so I'm not going to put my positive value down there. What is 36 divided by 4? That gives us a value of 9, so the answer there would be 9. And question D, a negative divided by a positive is going to give me a negative value, so I'll write my negative value in, and 18 divided by 9 is 2, and therefore my answer would be negative 2. So by way of concluding this video, if you have the same signs, so 2 positives or 2 negatives, they will stay positive. And if you have 2 of the different signs, they will stay negative. And that is pretty much everything to do with multiplying and dividing integers.